So this is the Tuesday, November 16th, 2021 meeting of the East Long Meadow Planning Board. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I take the roll. Present are Cassandra Sarasuelo, myself, Russell Denver, member George Kingston, member Jonathan Torsha, and we're joined by Bethany Yao, who is the Planning and Community Development Director, and also from the Office of Planning and Community Development, Nina Fazio. I'm required by Mass General Law to note that this meeting is being recorded and to ask if there's anyone in the audience who might be also recording this meeting. And if so, would you please come into the meeting, state your name, and tell us how you are recording this meeting. Not seeing anyone, the first item would be the approval of our October 19th, 2021 meeting minutes. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to review them. And if so, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Torsha?
Aye.
Mr. Kingston?
Aye.
Ms. Sarasuelo?
Aye.
And I'm a aye as well. So that item passes. I'd like to ask the planning board if we could take a matter out of order, and that would be the continuation of the request for special permit at 16 Meadowbrook Road. And if that's okay, if someone could make a motion to do so.
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on moving this item forward? Hearing none by roll call. Ms. Sarasuelo?
Aye.
Mr. Kingston?
Aye.
Mr. Torsha?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So, Mr. Torsha, if you could call that item, please.
Yeah. So item number 1, case SPRW 2021-49, request for site plan review waiver for Burgess
John.
Schultz Rock.
We're taking
John.
number.
This is Meadowbrook Road, John.
60
My
Meadowbrook Road.
apologies. All right, case SP 2021-10, 16 Meadowbrook Road. Request for special permit for installation of a wireless communications monopole and related equipment at 16 Meadowbrook Road, Assessor's Parcel ID 78-1-0 on a 12 plus or minus acre site in the Residence A zoning district. Applicant Thelco Partnership DBA Verizon Wireless, 20 Alexander Drive, Wallingford, Connecticut. Continued from October 19th.
So this is a continuation of a public hearing, so I will open the public hearing, but would ask Bethany Yao, who is the Director of Planning and Community Development, to kind of give a status update on this item.
Sure, thanks, Russ. So the last zoning board meeting was last week. There we have 2 variances before the zoning board. And at that public hearing, some residents suggested some alternative sites that were not, that Verizon was not aware of beforehand. So they are investigating those alternate locations and have requested a continuance to December 21st of the planning board meeting so they can resolve any questions or issues with the zoning board before coming back before the planning board.
And the next ZBA meeting on this item is when?
December 13th.
So because this is a public hearing, does anyone wish to be heard on this matter? So hearing none. So there's a request for a continuance by Verizon until our December 21st meeting. So I have a motion to approve the request for the continuance.
So moved.
Do I have a second? So Cassie and John, you're both muted.
I'll second that.
Thank you. So motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? So the motion is to just continue the public hearing until December 21st, 2021. Any discussion? Hearing none. By roll call, Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Okay, so we will continue that public hearing. Thank you, everyone. So, John, we can go back to the regular agenda.
Yes, correct. This is the correct site plan waiver. So case SPRW 2021-49, request for site plan review waiver for Burgess, Schultz, and Robb, PC, an accounting firm at 2 Center Square, assessors parcel ID 27-174-0, in an existing structure in the business zoning district, applicant Burgess, Schultz, and Robb, PC, 200 North Main Street, East Long Meadow.
So the petitioner available?
Yeah, I don't see a hand, Russ. I don't know, maybe one of those individuals, but they could raise a hand if they're here.
If you are here on behalf of the petitioner, would you raise your hand so you can be brought into the meeting?
Yep, no dice.
What's the pleasure of the board?
This is a existing building in a zone where this is allowed. I don't see there's anything controversial about it. I would think we could move forward.
I would agree. It's just the office, where there's already office space.
I agree with both of that, but certainly would have been nice to have the courtesy of whether they were going to be here or not and attend in deference to the work of the planning board. So do I have a motion to approve the site plan waiver?
I'll make that motion, George.
Do I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, motion made in second. Any discussion? Hearing none on the motion by roll call, Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm I'll be an aye, but unhappily. So so that item passes. Next item.
Yes, item number 2, case SPRW 2021-50, request for site plan review waiver for Cali Medical Spa, a business offering aesthetic medical treatments at 294 North Main Street, assessors parcel ID 14-13-0, in an existing structure in the commercial zoning district. Applicant Cali Medical Spa, 294 North Main Street, East Long Meadow, MA.
So I see a representative from Cali Med Spa. We see the name on the screen.
Sorry, we're just trying to set up.
Sure.
Okay, we're all set. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
So just for the people who might be watching the meeting, so so tell us which building on Main Street it is, so people can just kind of put their head around that.
It's 294 Main Street, North Main Street in East Long Meadow.
Yep. But besides the address,
Suite 101.
the reminder building,
well,
which,
formerly Dr. Nordstrom's was a pediatric for Bay State Labs, same building.
okay,
Or it used to be Dr. Nordstrom's office for many years. And then it was Dr. Khan that moved out of the building, which had a med spa there also, then moved on to Shaker Road.
okay, sounds
Same
good.
use of the property.
So we'd like to just find out a little bit about yourselves, your background, your experience, a little bit about the business itself, hours of operation, number of employees, if you can go from there.
So the hours of operation would be Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, approximately. And right now there will be 3 to 4 employees. And I'm sorry, what was the other question?
Number of customers anticipated every day?
10
Between
to 15
10 to 15, yeah.
customers. And also, we've been residents of East Long Meadow for the last 32 years in Southbrook development. We also have another business coast to coast, which is Villa Napolitano, that's been in business for 20 years here. Our background is in medicine. We work for Innovative Physician Services, which one of the physicians is a partner in this that owns Innovative Physicians. And we have multiple different locations with Innovative.
Good. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. And thank you for your continued investment in East Long Meadow.
Thank you so
very
much.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Mr. Torsia.
Item number 3, SPRW 2021-51, request for site plan review waiver for Cheeky Clover, a home office at 8 Acorn Street, second floor, assessor's parcel ID 3A 36-36-1A on a 0.60 plus or minus acre site in the Residence C zoning district. Applicant Aaron Moody, 8 Acorn Street, second floor, East Long Meadow, MA.
Hello. You're muted.
Okay,
Hi.
there.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
So just for the people in the audience who might be watching, so tell us what Cheeky Clover will be doing, some of the hours of operation, a little bit about your background in the business, so we can get started from there.
Basically it's just like a craft retail type thing that I'll be working out at home. I needed the license so I could do craft fairs and sell online. So it's just gonna be an office at home so I can make things, make product.
And no business actually being conducted in regards to customers coming to that location.
Yeah, no, there'll be no business coming in. It would be basically everything being shipped out.
Okay. Questions from the members of the board?
Yeah. How much of the house is going to be devoted to this, and how much product storage do you expect to have on site?
It's pretty much 2 desks in my room. Probably maybe they're small items like keychains, mugs, shirts. Nothing too big, just starting out.
Okay.
Love the name. There's no question about that. That's
Thank
great.
you.
So, all right. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Let Cassie move it. I'll second it.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
All right, under public hearings, case number 1, case SP 2021-11, 576 North Main Street. Request for special permit for canine and pets dog training, LLC, at 56 North Main Street, assessors parcel ID 1A-91-571, in an existing structure in the business zoning district. Applicant Canine and Pets Dog Training, LLC, CO Sergio Nieves, 576 North Main Street, East Long Meadow, MA.
Mr. Nieves, there you are. Okay. Thank you. Still a
Thank
new
you.
world with Zoom. So I'm going to ask Bethany, who is the planning and community development. So just to let you know that we have 4 members this evening. We normally have 5. One of our members had some surgery recently and is unable to attend. So for this item to pass, you will need all 4 members to have an affirmative vote. So we can open the public hearing, but if you wish to ask us to continue it until our next meeting to have the 5th member, you certainly have the right to be able to do so. But you can decide on how you want to do that as we go through. So first, why don't you tell us what you're looking for? Let people know what the building is or where the building is located so they kind of get a flavor for it in their heads for those people who might be watching, and what you have in mind for this business.
Okay. First, thank you for accept my application. So Canine Pets, I started doing Canine Pets here like in 2018, the end of 2017. Before that, I was doing that in Puerto Rico, where I was born. I moved here like 6 years ago. And it's just mobile training, mobile dog training. I just go to your house and train your dog. I help the police with the canine units too. But most of what I do is obedience training, one-on-one training, like in your house. What I'm planning to do is expand the business so people can get more training, adding group lessons, training day camp. That is when you drop off the dog in the morning. I train your dog during the day and you pick up the dog at afternoon or night. I'm planning on doing that in 576 North Main Street, Islam Meadow, in the existing structure. So no change are gonna be made inside the building or outside. I saw that place because it has the parking lot, special for my clients, has the facilities inside for the customers. And I'm planning to add dog self-wash grooming. So where you can go and wash your dog yourself. And we're planning to have a groomer too. In a little retail store, like dog equipment, supplies for dogs. My background, I'm a former animal control officer in Puerto Rico. I was a vet tech too, veterinary technician. I am certified to do CPR on dogs. I'm an American Kennel Club evaluator for canine good citizen dogs. I'm another canine instructor, like for police canines. That's what I help the Massachusetts State Police and some local canine units. Actually, there is a letter in the application from the Long Meadow Canine Unit because I work with them. And I'm one of the 5 French ring sport decoys. Decoys is the person that put the suit on and take bites from the dogs. For a sport I practice from Europe. I went to Europe to study and as well in the United States. And I'm one of the 5 of those trainers in New England. So that's my plan with the building.
And what would you anticipate your hours of operation to be?
So I was saying like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Let me tell you what, because most of my customers are after works. Like people get out of work so they can join the group lessons. So during the day, people can come, go to the training, self-wash, grooming, training one-on-one. But I think most of the people are going to be afterwards, so they can join us in the group lessons.
Okay. So before we open it for the public hearing, are there questions from the board?
My only question would be, I assume you're aware of the history of this site. And
yeah,
you sound extremely qualified to do what you want to do. But I'm sure you're aware of that. And I think you're much more qualified than the previous occupant of the site. But
So I just want to add to that then. So do you have a ratio of dogs to trainers that is just kind of like a staffing plan in place for this?
So yeah, so because it's a startup here in Massachusetts, I never done this like in a location in Massachusetts. I was doing that in Puerto Rico with no problems. But here, so my plan is to start with 3 to 5 staff members, because the training camp is more like myself. So I have to train those staff members to do the way I do. And because it's a training day camp, the most I expecting besides the group lessons. So because most people don't have the time to train their dog, so they drop off the dog. So in that training day camp, that doesn't mean the dogs are going to be together.
Okay.
So I have to train one at a time, because of course it's a training day camp. When they are more advanced, and when I have actually I have already a person that is going to start with me, and she's one of my customers, but she's doing so well. I'm training her to be a part of my business.
Right.
So then one trainer for each dog. So it's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to have 5 dogs there and train the 5 dogs at the same time. For a regular daycare, my thing is when you have a regular daycare, you need to evaluate every dog. So it's not like you're gonna, oh, my dog want to go to the daycare. Can you take him? Yes, I can take him and put the dog with the other dogs. No, my daycare, if I start a daycare, it's not gonna be right away. I need to know my clientele first. I need to see how much clientele I'm gonna have. And every dog that is going to a regular daycare has to pass an evaluation at least 3 to 5 days. So I don't do anything like give me your dog, he's going to be playing with the other ones. No. And for every 5 dogs, 2 staff members. For every 5 for each every group of 5 dogs, 2 staff members in the daycare.
And so you would be willing to put that as a condition of the special permit?
What
Your staffing.
what do you mean?
Your staffing level. So you said that as of right now, you don't plan on doing a daycare.
No, because I
doing
cannot
training.
start with that. I cannot start with that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just be quiet now and see if there's other members of the board who have questions before we open it to the public. Okay, hearing none. So this is a public hearing. So if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this matter, would you please raise your Zoom hand and you can be brought into the meeting.
Nope.
And I don't see anyone of the attendees with a hand raised. So do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved, George.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion on closing the public hearing? Hearing none by roll call on the closing of the public hearing. Ms. Sarasuelo?
Aye.
Mr. Kingston?
Aye.
Mr. Torsia?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So it's back to the board. So what I was going to say, Mr. Nieves, so as Mr. Kingston pointed out, this has that building has a history to it.
Yeah.
There was real issues about the staffing when she did daycare for animals. So I will throw out for the board to consider. So either we ask Mr. Nieves for a confirmed staffing plan now, so that when he moves forward, he would have to comply if he takes in daycare, or we request that he come back to the planning board before he opens the daycare part of his business, so that we can agree to what is an appropriate staffing plan moving forward. So comments from the board?
I would agree with asking him to come back, sort of as a modification to the special permit, because the request for the special permit is for training and not for
Right.
daycare.
Yeah.
And I would also just like to ask for the record that there will be no overnight keeping of dogs. Is that correct?
What was that? Sorry.
That there will be no dogs kept overnight at the site.
No.
Thank you. Just for the record. Okay.
So your application is for the training component of this. It's not for the daycare, your current application.
Yeah, I when I put training day camp, they told me, oh, so you're gonna take care of dogs during the day, and I'm like, well, if they are in training, I have to take care of them.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do a daycare, and I said it's not exactly a daycare. I would like to have a daycare, of course,
Yeah. Okay.
but like I said, it has to be something like safe. I know how to work with safety because that's my priority, safety. Yeah. And I have a question. When you say to go back to the planning board, I'm willing to do that. Who is going to decide is everything is going to be fine with the staffing and with the daycare?
Yeah, so what I believe, this is my opinion, what I believe we would be looking for is if you come in and say, I'm, outside of training, I'm gonna have 8 dogs a day, okay? We would love to see some backup on the number of people that you would have who would be there during the day with 8 animals, and the rationale on how you selected that number. So if there's an American Kennel Association guideline that for every 4 dogs, there be, a staff member, that kind of gives us some comfort in knowing that that number just wasn't picked out of, the air. I mean, other than what your qualifications are, which are very, very outstanding for this type of business. But we ran into this issue, obviously, with the last business that was in there, and there's litigation going on, and it got to be a little too much.
I understand. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, we applaud you coming in. We applaud what you want to do, but we just certainly want to be able to cover the town to make sure that the rationale you give us for the staffing is appropriate.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, I don't know any organization that have like a plan, like a staffing plan for that. I know people that have daycare. They're friends of mine and everything. The thing is, they're all different. They're all different. Literally, I was talking to one. Huh?
Yeah, so during the hearing that we had when we rescinded the special permit for the business that used to be in there, there was a representative from a national organization that talked about staffing levels for animal daycare.
Okay.
Maybe Bethany might have those notes on who that was and could get you that information, but yeah.
Yeah, I was sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Because of what happened there previously, they're working on a law now in memoriam of that dog. So maybe you could reach out to those people to see what they're proposing, because I just looked it up and it doesn't look like it's passed yet, but they're working on getting it to pass. So if it does pass and you do decide to open a daycare, you would need to follow those regulations anyways. So why not reach out to those people?
Oh yeah. No,
So
it's just I'm saying.
I think it's referred to as Ollie's Law.
Yes, yeah.
Ollie's, yeah. So, but on the main question, so on the approval of the special permit, do I have a motion?
I will move to approve it.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion made in second. Any further discussion on this item? So by roll call, Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Oh, before I continue this, Mr. Nieves, did you want to have the board, have the four of us vote on this, or did you want to wait 2 weeks until the fifth board member was here?
You can vote.
Okay, so Mr. Torsia was a yes, Mr. Kingston was a yes, Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. So you got all four of us. And so
Thank you.
this item passes. Best of luck to you. It sounds like a really wonderful endeavor. So,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
All right, so under continued public hearings, case VN 2021-3, ground-mounted photovoltaic installations bylaw amendment for the purpose of amending and clarifying the town of East Long Meadow zoning bylaw section 7.5, ground-mounted photovoltaic installations and schedule of uses, section 3.041, ground-mounted photovoltaic arrays by adding language permitting ground-mounted photovoltaic installations in resident zoning districts. Petitioner is the East Long Meadow Planning Board, and this is continued from September the 21st, October the 5th, and October the 19th.
So before I open the public hearing component of this, I'm going to ask Bethany to report back on a couple of items the planning board members were questioning at our last meeting. So Bethany?
So I did speak with town council about kind of the basic question of how can we ensure the amended bylaw will withstand future solar developments that may be interested in large developments in residential zones. And essentially what he said is there's little to no guidance from the appeals court at this time. So bottom line is some regulation is better than nothing. So he suggested we continue with, or as best we can, understanding that it's not a guarantee as a protection for the town, as we've seen with some other cases recently. He did say to focus on the one point that the Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 3 does point out, which says no zoning ordinance or bylaw shall prohibit or unreasonably regulate the installation of solar energy systems or building of structures that facilitate the collection of solar energy, except where necessary to protect public health, safety, and welfare. And so really focusing on the public health, safety, and welfare aspects and viewing the regulations through that lens rather than how solar arrays may look and appear to neighbors or abutters.
And then on the question of looking at restricting it, how much a residential solar array could generate is something he frowns upon as well?
Not necessarily frowns upon, and I looked into some other municipalities in the area who participated in that best practices solar guide, because several of them do have small solar energy facilities permitted in their residential zones. For example, the town of Ware permits not more than 100 kilowatts as a small solar energy facility. And that would create a relatively small area that would fit within a residency zoning district. They also frequently had the small scale solar in residential zones follow accessory setbacks, which also prevents there being a solar development on a property that doesn't have a primary dwelling. So there's always a resident on site, and that town council thought would be valid because of safety concerns, potential safety concerns of not having somebody on site.
I like that issue, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a kind of a way to work with the state's pretty vague law on it. And he definitely sympathized with it. He's on the planning board for East Hampton, and East Hampton does not have a solar bylaw, and he's been trying to help them move forward with that. So So we're moving in the right direction, even though we're kind of blindly moving forward.
So before I open it to the public hearing, board members have any questions, comments? So just before we open to the public hearing, so regretfully, our Director of Planning and Community Development has announced her resignation from the town effective December 23rd. That allows this planning board 2 more meetings we need to get this done before she leaves. So I am asking, after we hear from the public, I would ask that we continue this meeting or this item until our December 7th meeting so that Mr. Punderson can be here as well. So I'm going to ask both Bethany and Nina to kind of to resend everything to us one last time with all of the, comments on questions that have been asked so that we can spend whatever time we need to finish this on December 7th and be able to forward it to the town council prior to Bethany leaving her position. And with that said, I'll open it to the public. If there's anyone who would like to be heard on this item, would you please raise your hand and you can be brought into the meeting. Seeing none. Any other comments from the board? If not, do I have a motion to continue this to December 7th?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to continue it to the December 7th meeting. And by roll call, Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. And the next item, Mr. Torsia.
Yes, so we have item, so under other business, request for release lots from covenant in lieu of performance bond in the amount of $74,426 for Josie Lane subdivision off of Pease Road, East Long Meadow, MA. The petitioners are Emmanuel Marino and Eric LaChapelle.
Hello?
How are you?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Oh, here we are.
Okay, we're there.
Hi. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So I'm going to ask Bethany to kind of give us an update on this matter.
Yep, so Josie Lane was a subdivision that was approved, I believe, last year. And they are now before us requesting a release of lots from covenant in lieu of the performance bond. DPW has sent in a letter stating that they have no issues with the performance bond amount.
That's great.
Questions from the board?
Remind me where on Pease Road this is?
It's after 303. It's a Cape. Michael Caine's father owned that property, and Emmanuel Marino bought that. I'm his brother-in-law, and this is his sister, my wife. And it's been cleared. We got the bond, and we're in place to have the dozers on the lot. And the bond allows us to also dig a foundation after we proceed with the beginning of the road.
Good. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any further discussion? By roll call, Ms. Saraswello,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Torsia,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Best of luck.
So much.
Thank you.
Take care. Next item.
So we've just got the director's report.
Okay. Director.
I just had a couple notes. We had a housing production community focus meeting last 2 weeks ago on the 4th of December or November, getting my months confused. It went really well. We do anticipate having a December meeting as well. possibly a focus group, particularly on our senior population, and potentially an in-person meeting at the Council on Aging. So we're still working out the logistics, but we hope to have a almost complete housing production plan for the board to review, if not by the end of December, then early in the new year. And the other official news is, like Russ said, I put in my notice and I'm unfortunately departing on December 23rd. So I'll definitely miss East Long Meadow and working with the community and with the boards.
And just for the people who are remaining as attendees, if you had not caught it, so Verizon put in a request for a continuance of the public hearing on their matter on Meadowbrook. They are looking at alternative sites that were brought to their attention. And this board voted to agree to the continuance until our December 21st, 2021 planning board meeting. Any other matters properly before this board? I will just say, Bethany, it's been a pleasure working with you. In the short time that you've been the planning director, you have accomplished a great deal.
Thank you.
The work you did on the master plan was outstanding. I understand that that's like herding cats. Many opinions, many different focus groups, different special interest groups within the town. You were able to get it accomplished, and it's really going to be a nice plan for the town to follow. But you're leaving me for the hard work, which is the implementation of that plan. But we'll have you back, and you can see the fruits of your labor. So, any other comments from the board? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved.
And I have a second.
I'll second it.
And I'm just going to say, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.